We've talked a lot about scams, and there are all kinds of them out there. We talked about, of course, earlier in the week, and I guess last week as well, about a couple that you have to watch out for. One today involved Facebook Marketplace. But as you head into the holiday season, there's a whole new area to have to watch out for: holiday season scams. So Larry Zelvin is Executive Vice President, Head of Financial Crimes Unit at the BMO Financial Group, and he is on the line. Larry, thanks for being here this afternoon. And let me begin by asking, when I said that, and suddenly you have to frame it as holiday season scams, what's the differentiation here?
Well, the differentiation is while you have to worry about these things every day, it gets a lot worse this time of year. And look, the reason being is more and more people are online buying things. So, the market for the fraudsters is like at its max capacity. And the other thing is they also get to refine their attempts to get to you by knowing that you're holiday shopping. So you're going to see more emails, you're going to see texts, you're going to see phone calls in ways to entice you based on your desire to buy gifts for people you love and care about.
Yeah, and of course, I would imagine, I'm seeing this in the report, AI, something we talk about pretty regularly here. That's another thing you have to consider, because I guess that actually makes fraud harder to detect.
It makes it so much harder, and also lowers the bar for people who are trying to get into this space. You had to have some technology skills in order to do these things, right? You had to craft emails, you had to have lists, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm sure everybody's used AI in some form, ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, whatever the case. But all you have to do is just ask AI, hey, I want to create emails based on holiday scams. Who are the best people? And within seconds, they get it. So it has lowered the bar. It has made it so much easier, and also the credibility of this. Like if we had this conversation 2 or 3 years ago, I'd offer a bunch of things by look at misspellings or look at this, that, and the other thing. AI has fixed all those problems. So you're going to have to be vigilant in different ways.
But so the vigilance in reading this story is actually quite frightening, right? First of all, as you said, it used to be in the old days, you'd look at a return email address, you could see something just looked fishy. Now, by virtue of AI, as you're outlining it, you got to watch out for things like fake retailer websites. So it looks like the real deal, but it's not. This is a big one.
Yeah, so I hate to break this to you. You got to do both, right?
Oh, no.
Not everything is AI enabled, right? So you still need to do all that. Look at your websites, and the other thing I tell folks is just watch those QR codes. QR codes are very convenient, but also for the bad actors. In some cases, like when you go to restaurants or bars, they'll put a different QR. Like if you see anything that's taped on, that should be an instant alert of don't scan that. They'll also do it outside of sometimes on street corners and other places you see QR codes. The problem is everybody just clicks. Nobody looks at the link to see if it's actually attaching to something. So then it will take you to many cases an AI-generated website or another application, and then they've really got you. So yeah, you still need to be vigilant that way. But when it comes to AI, you're going to have to look at it in a different way, such as especially during the holiday season. If you're getting a deal that seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? If it's a deep discount, you really need to be vigilant. You also need to watch when they have a sense of urgency, like buy now or within an hour, and look, some of those stuff is legitimate, but in many cases it's not. So just be very wary. And then the last thing I'll say, and I'm not anti-TikTok or any other social media, but if you're going to buy something off of a non-traditional website or application, really slow down, because it's easier for them to commit the frauds on those spaces. So just be wary.
I want to go back to what you said about QR codes. I mean, you're right. They're ubiquitous now. I don't even know how you would check it, because if you just look at one, it says open in whatever your browser is, and there you go. So how do you, in fact, check to see it's legit?
So you got to look a little bit more closely. There actually will be a URL line underneath. So you've got to be so look at that. So before you click on it, actually look and make sure that's what you're clicking on is actually related to where you're going. And again, you're going to check it just like you would any other website.
Okay. I'm not sure that's as easy as you make it seem.
Oh, no, it's not, because here's the thing, especially my eyes are failing as I get older. So, look, I think my best advice is unless you have confidence in that I don't scan QR codes myself, just because I know the fraud and the potential, but I don't want to scare everybody away. But at the same token, if it's something like inducing like shopping or anywhere that you would have to give your credit card, your debit card, or personal information, you really, really need to make sure that those QR codes are reliable.
We'll just go to the website instead. All right, well, I want to talk about this other thing that you note, which is called digital pickpocketing. We know what pickpocketing is. What does digital pickpocketing mean?
Well, it's similar, but a bit different. So, this is going to scare people, and I don't want people to be overreacting. But at the end of the day, there is technology that if you get very close proximity, like in a train station and perhaps on a bus or in a crowded restaurant or mall, There are technologies out there that allow people to steal your digital wallet off of your phone, but they have to be very close to you. In some cases, they bump. So you just need to be very careful if you all of a sudden somebody's like really close and it's very awkward and you're like, you're going to have to use your spidey sense. But look, this is not happening at scale, but it is happening and people need to be aware. And then if you go up, you're really afraid of this threat, there are some things you can buy to protect your phone, but we just want to let people know it's out there, but please don't overreact to it.
How would you know if it happened to you before you saw a fraudulent charge even come up? I mean, would you have some kind of war? How would you know?
You probably wouldn't. That's the scary part,
no.
right? You would have to see all these fraudulent charges and go, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How did they get my credit card number? Or how did this? And then so you'll start seeing these materialize and only to learn that they was actually compromised off your phone. But at the end of the day, what you will do is the same as if it was your credit card, if it was lost any other way. And that's call your financial institution, call law enforcement, et cetera.
By the way, I should point out, I mean, if you're just walking around, you're in a mall, and this is where this kind of stuff happens, you say, right, in crowds, then obviously the idea would be carry your phone, I guess, if you could. Beyond your pocket, that's apparently not good enough. You need to carry it in a pouch or something like that. Would that make a difference?
It does, but it's got to be the right pouch. But unfortunately, that's where we're going. So as these things become more and more used by fraudsters, that unfortunately we may be walking around with our phone in an envelope in our pocket or our purse or wherever you carry your phone.
Okay, this is all good news. How about this one here? You also advise if you're paying by card, credit cards better to pay with than debit cards, for example. What's the concern here?
Instant payment. So if you use your debit card, and I'm not anti-debit card, but if you're going to do something and you're concerned, your credit card would be better. Same thing with using things like Interac, any instant payment systems. Cryptocurrency is another one that is instant. So, look, if you're concerned over the holiday season or just year-round and going, oh my gosh, if I had a fraud problem, I need to call my bank, I need to call whatever financial institution I'm dealing with. If you use a credit card, if you use potentially some wires, it's a slower process, so we have the ability to help you with the recall. But if you use those instant payment systems, it's gone. There's no way to recall.
And is the idea as well, I guess this would make sense, right? A lot of people just, tap their phone to pay. Your credit card information is on your phone. Do you advise against doing that as well?
I don't. As a matter of fact, I do that myself. I actually think it's in some ways a more secure way of interacting because here's the thing, especially with certain, I'll just say Apple, there's a high level of security. It may actually be more secure than in some cases actually giving somebody your credit card and putting it into a machine that is compromised and actually goes to fraudsters. So no, I'm not anti-tapping, but you need to be careful, as I said, as we're talking about digital pickpocketing, but that's the only real threat on your phone right now.
Okay, but then I think back to what you said about digital pickpocketing a minute ago. So if you already have that credit card information on your phone, even though it might be more convenient and safer at the end, is that what they're actually going to steal from you if they happen to do that?
So and again, it's not overly being used, but there is technology out there that could take that digital card off of your phone so they can use it. But again, my bigger concern from a fraud perspective would be if you use your credit card and you're at a place that is their machine has been compromised, that has a higher probability of you having a fraudulent interaction than actually that digital pickpocketing.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I think we scared everyone now. I thank you so much, Mr. Zelvin. Appreciate the time.
My pleasure. And folks, please enjoy the holiday. Don't be overly concerned, but you need to be vigilant. So best of luck out there, and thank you very much for the ability to talk with you today.
Always good advice. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
The biggest songs in the world. You've heard them countless times. Now, learn the details of how they came to be. Join Ruby Carr for Encore, the stories behind the songs you love. New interviews and newly unearthed archive footage make for a fascinating weekly deep dive. Stream Encore, the stories behind the songs you love on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.